This is the AEW Grandslam 2025 full show results video which takes place at Brisbane Entertainment Centre, Australia. The show started with a match between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. Omega tries to get involved but is sent off the apron as Takeshita and Fletcher double-team the aerial assassin, allowing Fletcher to get a near fall in the process. Ospreay with a tag to Omega, and the crowd is loud as Omega goes after Kyle, but Fletcher drops the mood when he drops Omega. Omega fights back with a big dropper on the international champion, forcing him to leave the ring only for both men of the family to get the drop on them from a dive from Ospreay and Omega. Kenny gets taken down hard with a knee strike by Konosuke, who gets a near fall for his effort. He sends Omega to the corner once, but a second hammer throw results in Omega getting the boot to the champ's face instead. Omega rolls forward for a tag to Ospreay as Fletcher tags in, catching Ospreay with a thrust kick before Kenny plants him with a Snapdragon suplex. Ospreay is in control until Fletcher manages to counter out for a powerbomb attempt which gets reversed into a DDT. A scudder is reversed, but Ospreay hits another DDT for good measure, then Ospreay in the corner for a hidden blade but is stopped when Don Callis grabs him by the ankle while the referee is distracted. Ospreay counters out of a double suplex, sending Fletcher out of the ring as he looks for a hidden blade only to be laid out by a Takeshita knee strike. He turns his attention to Omega, who answers with a V-trigger to take the champ down. In the end, Ospreay dives over the top to get the drop on Fletcher, and then climbs back up for a hidden blade into a one-winged angel, and Omega and Ospreay won the match by pinfall. The next match happened between Mercedes Moné versus Harley Cameron for the TBS Championship, and Momo Watanabe is in the crowd in Brisbane watching the TBS Championship match between Mercedes and Harley Cameron. We see Harley drops the champ with an arm drag before attacking her on the ropes, saying this is her ring now. Cameron leaves the ring, pulling out the Mercedes puppet before attacking the champ in the corner with Mini Mercedes until Mercedes fights back, stomping away at the puppet before kicking it out of the ring. She goes back on the attack, dropping the challenger for a near fall. She sends Harley to the ropes before hitting a running Meteora for the cover, but the challenger manages to kick out. Harley in the corner before Moen goes after her, but a pump handle pickup drops the champ to the canvas and Cameron gets a close near fall. Mercedes manages to fight back with a backstabber, forcing Harley out of the ring before taking a standing ovation only for Mini Mercedes to return. Harley catches the champ on the apron outside, slamming her into it before going up top amidst Field of Wrath chants from the crowd. She drops onto Mercedes, following up with an Australian destroyer for the cover, but the champ kicks out. Another roll-up yields the same result, and a third attempt from the corner gets one more near fall. With the champ in the ropes, Cameron dials it up for a tiger feint kick before going up top, but the champ catches her with a moneymaker instead, picking up the win to retain the TBS Championship. The champ celebrates as she leaves the ring, confronting Watanabe before heading up the ramp with her titles. Backstage, Kenny Omega talks about having to listen to Konosuke Takeshita brag about being the international champion before challenging him for the title at Revolution. He offers the floor to Will Ospreay, who talks about Kyle Fletcher being booed in his home country before looking to settle things once and for all at Revolution in a steel cage. Then we saw a Brisbane brawl match between Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus Adam Copeland and Switchblade Jay White. Cope and Jay send the Death Riders into the ring for mounted punches in the corner before sending them right back out, with White and Moxley going at it while Claudio and Cope square up. Those two head through the crowd as White and Moxley continue to go at it at ringside. Claudio turns things around on Cope as White looks to set up a table for Moxley, but a distraction from Schaffer leads to the world champion sending him back into the ring instead. Cope slowly makes his way back toward ringside as Moxley sets Jay up on the table, climbing the turnbuckle before Cope intercepts him, but Claudio is back at ringside as well now, and he sends Jay down hard before the Death Riders take control. Claudio sets up a table in the corner until Jay shows up with a kendo stick, laying into both riders until Moxley stops him long enough for Claudio to send him into a chair propped up in the corner. He lays into the world champion with it before getting out of the ring for a second chair, setting Moxley up for a concerto only for Yuta and Schaffer to stop him. Castagnoli responds with a European uppercut, but it's not enough as Cope hits a back body drop and then drives him through the table with a spear. He hits the champ with one as well before leaving the ring, grabbing a steel chair wrapped in barbed wire from underneath before coming back in. This allows Claudio to hit him with a neutralizer for a near fall, and Moxley quickly locks in a bulldog choke on the Rated R superstar. Adam Copeland is struggling as Yuta keeps White from getting back in the ring and Cope is out cold, and the ref calls for the bell as this one is over, and the winner is Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. The next match happened between Kazuchika Okada vs Buddy Matthews for the AEW Continental Championship. The champ greets his challenger with a stone-cold salute before they face off, with Matthews holding his own as he stays up from a shoulder tackle. They lock up until Okada is taken to the ropes, with Buddy mocking Okada and Okada responding in kind. Buddy gets to his feet before giving Okada a double bird, and this riles Okada up just enough to leave the ring, grabbing his title and heading up the ramp to leave. Matthews gets a microphone, talk trash, and this gets the champ back in the ring where Buddy takes him down for a 2 count. Back from break, Buddy is up on his feet and turning things around on the champ as he sends Okada into the ring for a meteora off the top for a near fall. Okada scores a near fall of his own before hitting a neckbreaker to stay in control. The referee tries to stop him, and this leads to a roll-up by Matthews for a near fall, and a stomp for 2. Matthews' law connects, and Buddy gets the cover only for the champ to get his foot on the rope to break the count. In the end, Matthews catches the champ with a submission hold, but Okada manages to power out. He stops himself from crashing into the referee, only to grab onto him with Matthews behind him, and this gives Okada the opening to hit a low blow on the challenger, followed by a Rainmaker Lariat to pick up the win and retain the AEW Continental title. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Mariah May vs Timeless Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. The crowd showing more love for Ton Storm as the bell rings, and the women lock up before Storm lays into the champ with strikes into the corner. May fights back for a moment, before Storm responds with the press and punches. Crowd cheer her on as Toni continues the attack before May responds with a sling blade and a dropkick, sending her challenger into the corner. May stomps away at the Timeless One now, ignoring the chants from the crowd as she brings Storm to her feet, only for Toni to connect with not 1, not 2, but 3 German suplexes, sending the champ to the mat. After a break, May manages to get out, and the action heads to the apron where the champ dodges a hip attack from Storm, setting the challenger up for a Mayday onto the floor. The ref checks on Storm before May brings her back into the ring to chants of "Let's go Toni" from the crowd. May is in the corner as Storm sets up for a hip attack and a second one and a third for good measure. Storm 0 connects, but it's only good for a 2 count as the champ manages to kick out. May seems like dead weight here as Storm brings the champ to her feet, but May manages to get back into it with a deadlift suplex followed by a Mayday. She hoists the challenger to her feet for another Mayday and the cover, and Toni Storm kicks out. Then Toni Storm powerbombing Mariah out of the corner, then delivering another piledriver. However, Mariah promptly rolled out of the ring to avoid the pinfall. Mariah smashed a headbutt, then a piledriver. It looked like she wanted to close with Mayday. In the end, Toni Storm shocked the champ with a roll-up to win the match, and become the new AEW Women's World Champion. Toni Storm starts celebrating, and the AEW Grandslam goes off the air. How much you would rate AEW Grandslam 2025 show? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.